Tyler from Aspire Sports. I'm going to be giving you my weekly start and sit here. This is something new. I'm going to be doing this each week, so it's going to be players that I would sit if you're able to, and some players that might be on your bench, maybe players that possibly pick up and play over these players. So let's go ahead and get into it. And it's going to be the first one here. It's going to be Lamar Jackson. So if you're able to, I would sit him. Yes, you probably drafted Lamar Jackson very high. This is why you don't draft quarterbacks high. Don't draft them high. Get them later in the draft. So if you're able to, I would definitely sit him. Plays Indianapolis this week, giving up the lowest amount of passing yards on the season. I think they're tied for first in interceptions on the season. So I would sit him if you're able to. Obviously, he can get plays done with his legs, but I'd rather play like a Cam Newton or even like a Justin Herbert, because I've seen questions on Twitter like, would you play Justin Herbert over Lamar Jackson? Yes, I would. Justin Herbert's the hottest quarterback in football right now. Yes, I would. I'd even play Cam Newton. Is that bold? I'll let you decide if that's bold. So let's go into the next one, and that's going to be Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill plays Chicago this week. Chicago's allowing the fifth least passing yards on the season right now. And as you can see, they're also the fifth. Quarterbacks going against them are scoring the fifth fewest fantasy points. So I don't feel comfortable. Yes, he's very consistent. And if you want I feel like probably around 17 points, which isn't bad, or 15 points right around there. I think that's where he'll probably end up scoring. But me personally, I think Tua is going to have a really good week this week, and I think Tua is going to be a better start than him. Book it. Book it. So let's go to the next one, and it's going to be Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater right now, I don't know if everyone watched the game last week, the Thursday night game. It was really sloppy, raining and everything, and really this offense did not look good. I think the weather definitely factored in, but he also got pressured a lot. Right now, Kansas City, they have a decent pressure rate right now, but I just imagine that they get to Teddy Bridgewater. This secondary is actually pretty good. Right now, they're giving up the second fewest passing yards in the league this season. And as you can see over here, they're giving up the sixth fewest points to the quarterback this season. So I just think I'd rather go with like a Drew Lock if you have Teddy Bridgewater as your starting quarterback this week, or even like a Kirk Cousins, which is bold, but I'd rather even go Kirk Cousins. And let's go to the next one, and that's going to be starting the running back position, Ezekiel Elliott. I think this is just like an obvious choice, right? On Twitter, so many people are asking, should I play Zeke? Should I sit him? My answer is you play Zeke unless you really have a better option. Don't try to get cute and start like a Naheem Hines or somebody like that over Zeke. No, you still got to play Zeke. If you have somebody like David Montgomery, yeah, Antonio Gibson, I'd probably play over him as well. Even a Justin Jackson, I really like Justin Jackson this week. I would start over Zeke. It hasn't been great since Dak has left, and I don't think it gets any better this week. So if you're able to sit him, you sit him, but don't get really cute with it. Next one would be Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones last week had a fumble. He then was basically like in the doghouse. Uh, he played like 17 snaps to Leonard Fournette's 51. So I'm very concerned going forward. I just don't think Bruce Arians likes him, and I think he really likes Fournette. So I also think that Tom Brady trusts Fournette. I mean, Ronald Jones played really well when Fournette wasn't playing, so I don't know. But right now it doesn't look good. So me personally, I would not play him. Stay away from him. I'd play Justin Jackson obviously over him. I'd even play J.K. Dobbins over him. I'd play Devin Singletary. So even Damian Harris I would play over him right now. I just don't trust this situation. So no thank you. I'm out on Ronald Jones. And Joshua Kelley is the next one. I put Joshua Kelley in here because he's still decently owned. Maybe you need some running backs this week. I wouldn't. Yes, this is a very good matchup against Las Vegas, who's giving up the fifth most points to the running back position this year. But last week, it's been steady that Pope has been getting more carries or more work in this backfield, and it's progressively gotten more and more each week. And now he outsnapped Joshua Kelley this past week. So I don't know, maybe Joshua Kelley, he really hasn't been that efficient at all in the season. So I just think that Justin Jackson's the best player in this backfield, and I think he'll get more work going forward. 2 weeks ago he didn't because I think he was hurt. He was on the injury report all week, had a knee issue, but last week was healthy, and I think just going forward he's going to be the guy with Pope being the second guy, and unfortunately, Joshua Kelley on his way out here. Not on like physically out, but just not playing that much. Next one, Robby Anderson. And I'll say both Robby Anderson and DJ Moore. Now, you don't sit them. It's like the Zeke situation. You don't sit them for scrubs. Uh, I think this is a really tough matchup in Kansas City. Their secondary is actually pretty good in Kansas City. So I don't trust Robby Anderson, DJ Moore this week. I feel like they're borderline top 20 plays, but guys that I would honestly play over him, Brandon Cooks, I would play over them. Deontay Johnson, a lot of people ask questions about him on Twitter. I think he's fine this week. Even Mike Williams, I would consider playing over both of them this week. I know it might seem a little crazy, but this is a really tough matchup, and I just think that they get to Teddy Bridgewater a lot, and I just don't like it. So count me out this week. Next would be Amari Cooper, and this goes for all Dallas wide receivers. One of them's probably going to have a good game. It might be Amari. It might be Michael Gallup. One of them, but I'd imagine Pittsburgh's just going to get to DiNucci. I believe that's how you say his last name. I think Pittsburgh gets to them. The only concern I have is that Pittsburgh goes out there and plays down to the competition, which they have when they play bad teams with Mike Tomlin. That's the only concern I have. But really, I want to play any of these guys. Like people that I'd honestly play over any of these wide receivers. DJ Chark, I would play over them. Tim Patrick would play over them. Sterling Shepard, I'd play over them. So no thank you. I'm out on the Dallas wide receivers. And then let's go into the starts. Actually, I forgot to do I didn't include him, but Mark Andrews as a tight end. Yes, if you have to play him, you play him. But if you have better options out there, I would play them. Indianapolis is giving up the fewest receiving yards, well, just points to the tight end position this year. So I'd go with like a Hayden Hurst if you have the option, a TJ Hawkinson, even like a Logan Thomas, because in 4 games this year, Mark Andrews has scored less than 4 points in 4 games this year. So he's like a boom or bust guy, and I think this is going to be a bust week, so I don't want any part of him. Also, Jared Cook as well. I don't want any part of him. They're getting healthier on the offensive side of the ball. Tampa Bay is a really bad matchup as well, so no thanks. I'm out on Jared Cook. Let's go into the starts. And the first one here is going to be Cam Newton. Cam Newton. A lot of people kind of giving up on him after these past couple of weeks here, but I think this is a really good spot. The Jets just got obliterated by Kansas City. Yes, it's Kansas City. And it was 400 passing yards and 5 touchdowns to Mahomes, right? And it's Patrick Mahomes. But I don't think Cam Newton's going to put up that much, but he's going to definitely put up quarterback 1 numbers here. So he's a very good option this week. I'd honestly be more comfortable playing him over Lamar Jackson this week. And then next would be Drew Lock. Now, I'm not saying I'd play him over Lamar Jackson. I'd consider it. I said this last week that Teddy Bridgewater was going to be a top 10 play. Didn't happen. I think the weather definitely affected that. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the weather definitely affected that game. I'm not making excuses. It's the truth. So, but I like Drew Lock a lot this week. I've talked about it extensively. Atlanta is the worst pass defense in the NFL. Drew Lock is healthy, has options on the outside. Fant, Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy kind of played well last week. So me personally, I like Drew Lock. I think he's a top 12 play this week. And let's go to the next player here, and that's going to be Chase Edmonds. I'm only going to mention Chase Edmonds because a lot of people on Twitter are like, should I play Chase Edmonds over? Chase Edmonds is a top 10 play this week, 100%. He's going to see all the backfield touches. Yes, Miami looked better last week, but they were still giving up chunk plays on the ground. I'm not saying that Chase Edmonds is going to go out and rush for 100 yards, but he's going to be involved in the passing game. He'll get carries out of the backfield. So 100% he's a top 10 play for me this week. Don't even think about it. Put him. Yes, I would even play him over Zeke, 100%. Let's go to J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins. I believe in J.K. Dobbins. Yes, this is a tough matchup against Indianapolis. They're giving up the 4th fewest fantasy points to the running back position this year. I don't care. J.K. Dobbins, I watched the game last week against Pittsburgh. The dude can ball. He's elusive. His cuts, his footwork is just amazing. I honestly think he has top 5 potential, like in terms of running backs in the league. Not this year. Well, not in I'm not saying in fantasy, just skill wise. Like that's where I think he is. I think he has that potential, and I think he goes out there. They said that they want to get him more involved as well, and I think he goes out there and I think he just balls out and he shows everyone that he is amazing. So I don't want to say like top 20 play because it is a really tough matchup, but borderline top 20 play for me this week. The next person would be DeeJay Dallas. Now, this is even if Chris Carson plays. I don't think Chris Carson plays, and I'm not concerned about his workload going forward, Chris Carson, but I think he's just banged up right now. And I think if he's out this week, DeeJay Dallas is going to just go into that starting role and see all the snaps out of the backfield. I like DeeJay, especially if Chris Carson's out this week. He's a top 20 play, 100% in my opinion. Borderline top, maybe even a top 15 play at the running back position this week against Buffalo, who have been getting beaten up on the ground this year. So I like DeeJay Dallas 100%. Even if Chris Carson plays, I think he's like a flex play this week. I think he still sees enough touches to make himself fantasy relevant. And let's go to the next one, and that's going to be Scary Terry. Yes, I love Scary Terry. Terry McLaurin, love him. I think he's just an insert top 10 option each week. I don't care who his quarterback is. I'm not going to get super nerdy into all the stats here. 100% plug and play option for the rest of the season as a top 10 play. Next person, DeeJay Chark. I like DeeJay Chark a lot this week as well. I know that they have a backup quarterback that's going to be playing. I don't care. I like DeeJay Chark. He's going to be healthy. He wasn't healthy at all the beginning part of the season. I think he's healthier now with the bye week. And he kind of said he was getting pissed with Minshew. He wanted the ball, and it's not that Minshew wasn't trying to get him the ball, it was just really ineffective. And I think they're going to overcompensate. Like when wide receivers say that or running backs say that, and they're kind of like the divas, the team typically like overcompensates for that. So I like DeeJay Chark a lot this week. And let's go to Sterling Shepard. And I already said like who I would play these guys over. DeeJay Chark I think is like a top 25 play this week along with Sterling Shepard. Like I'd play Sterling Shepard over guys like Marvin Jones, Slayton, all the Dallas wide receivers. I'd play him. Like he's a stud when he plays. His issue is that this is Sterling Shepard is that he just can't stay on the field. He's never really that healthy. But when he's healthy, he plays well. Him and Danny Dimes have a pretty good connection, so I do like Sterling Shepard this week. And let's go to the tight ends, and that's going to be Noah Fant. I honestly think he has like top 3 potential this week in a game versus Atlanta, who I've talked about it. Atlanta is terrible against the pass, so I think he's like the first option right there with Tim Patrick in this offense. So I love Noah Fant this week. And then let's also talk about Logan Thomas. I think he's a top 10 play this week. So if you have a guy like Cook, I would play Logan Thomas over Cook. I would even consider it, and I know it's crazy, but I would even consider Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, like I said, I just think he's going to be a bust this week. He's either a boom or bust every single week, where Logan Thomas, since Kyle Allen has taken over, is seeing good work, and he's lining up all over the field. So me personally, I like Logan Thomas a lot this week. And that about does it. So if you disagree with anything I say, or maybe you have some start-sit questions of your own, please include them in the comments below. We'll go ahead and answer any that you have. So thank you for watching. We'll be live on Sunday from 11:15 to 1 o'clock answering any questions that you have. Thank you and have a great day.